All right, fellas, we got a huge show for you tonight again. We got a new feature on the Commissioner's Corner podcast, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to be talking Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott's Dallas Cowboys. We're going to be talking injuries to Earl Thomas III for Seattle and much, much more. So stay tuned to the Commissioner's Corner podcast for the 2-minute drill coming up right now. What is up, guys? You're listening to the Commissioner's Corner podcast. It's Friday, November 18th. This is episode number 8. I'm your host, Bomber, alongside my co-host, Lipp. And Lipp, it's time for the 2-minute drill. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, starting right now. Now we're wondering, can Doug Martin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take that rushing title away from Ezekiel Elliott this season?
No, I do not think so. I think Ezekiel Elliott's got the best O-line in football. Doug Martin just had a big game, but Zeke is killing him in yards after contact. That's going to be the big thing at the end of the year.
That is true. And are the Texans real? They're currently at 4-2. Is this something they can keep pace with right now? They got a huge game coming up on NBL Live versus the Raiders.
Yeah, I definitely think that this team is for real. The schedule fits in their favor. They've got Bengals, Steelers, Raiders, Cardinals as the only games that I think that they will have tough games against. I think they can finish at 10-6 at worst.
And score prediction for Raiders versus Texans this week?
31-20 to the Texans.
That's 31-20 to the Texans. How good is left guard Richie Incognito for Justin's Buffalo Bills?
Out of everybody that's played, the highest amount of downs played is just around 330, 340. Richie Incognito has played 329 of them, and he's the only guy to let up 0 sacks. That's pretty good for a guy that is up there in age and a strong leader. He's a great part of this team. No sacks so far this year.
Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears are ahead in the NFC North. They're upsetting the Lions. I can't believe it because that's my squad. But how great is it to see Jay Cutler back in NBL and having some relative success this far?
It's great. Jay Cutler is a great quarterback. He fell off for a little bit, but now he's back. 7 touchdowns, 4 picks, QBR of over 114, completing 74% of his passes. Best thing about it, the Bears are 5-1.
And you got 14 seconds. What does Trey McIntyre, the rookie quarterback from Kansas City, need to do to be a better quarterback in the NBL? Hurry up.
Please get this guy some O-line. He's been sacked 27 times. Get Jeremy Maclin involved. Help the kid out.
And that's 1 second as the timer goes off. You barely made it, but very successful. Some great information in the 2-minute drill with Lipp. As always, thank you, Lipp. And we're going to continue the show right now, so stay tuned for much more coming up and some great storylines and some new features. Looking for Madden Bomber League history, content, and news? Go to 365.maddenbomberleague.com. Don't forget to give us a follow on Twitter @BomberLeague and hit that like button and that subscribe on our NBL Network YouTube channel and support one of the fastest growing leagues in the Madden community. All right, so the Raiders just fell to 3-3 and took a sweep of the Broncos, and they on their loss week 7 was 27-24 versus the Broncos. Derek Carr did not play well, so hashtag Carr overrated in the NBL is still trending. Take a look at some of his comments post-game.
Yeah, you know me. It's always frustrating to lose no matter how it looks. Whenever you can go out there and you feel like you're being efficient. Obviously, there's so many things that I'm going to lose sleep over offensively that we can do better. Anytime we lose, it doesn't matter if we score 2 points or 50 points. Anytime you lose, it never feels good.
And the Raiders' offense just was not flowing last week, as Carr was talking about it. And his percentage, QB completion percentage was 48%. He had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and his QBR was 50. Lipp, what is going on in Oakland? Why are they struggling so much this year?
I have a lot of questions about this team. A team that made it to the AFC Championship. You want to talk about hashtag Carr overrated? Latavius Murray in that game had 9 attempts for 137 yards. That defense should have been biting all over play action, opening up so much space for Derek Carr. definitely not seeing where he couldn't have success here with that run game.
And what really stands out to me, Lipp, is 48% completion against a division rival like Denver, who they just mopped over last year. They just dominated them. So if winning the division is their goal this year, I do not see it happening. Put me on the record. Chargers are going to run away with this division. And I see the Raiders probably falling third. I don't see them going as low as where the Chiefs are now, but I'd bundle them together at this point in the season.
Yeah, coming down to the remaining weeks here in the season, the Raiders are going to have to start looking at a wild card spot if they want to make it into the playoffs.
And before we go about Derek Carr, I want to say I'm going to lose sleep over losing. Anytime you lose, it never feels good. Are some of the comments he just made in the post-game conference. I think those are great things for Derek Carr, and I think he's going to mature into a great quarterback in the NBL. But as of right now, hashtag Carr Overrated is still alive and well, still trending #1 on NBL on Twitter. Moving on from Derek Carr in the AFC West, we're headed to the NFC West, and we're talking the Seattle Seahawks, who just suffered a Week 7 loss to the Detroit Lions, 10-38. But more importantly, they lost their leader, Earl Thomas III, with a dislocated ankle. He's going to be out 6 weeks, and he's expected to come back somewhere between Week 12 and Week 13. Now Earl Thomas was mic'd up for this game, so let's take a listen to his leadership in a pregame huddle.
Man right, body right, heart right, no fear. No doubt. 1, 2, 3. 24/7. Right there.
Now, right there, you just can't stress the value of leadership that Earl Thomas brings to play as Seattle Seahawks team. Currently, right now, the Seahawks are 3-4. They're just below the Rams, who are 2-3-1. The Cardinals are 2-4, and the 49ers are 1-4-1. So, obviously, a couple division ties within this division. The Seahawks won the division last year, Lipp, and we're looking at them this year. We're talking another team. Are they going to be able to repeat and be division champs again without their star safety, Earl Thomas?
I think that there is a good chance for this. They've already played the Cardinals twice. Moving forward here, as the season goes on, they have 2 games against the 49ers and 2 games against the Rams left. That is good information for the Seahawks, especially that they don't play them in this time that Thomas should be out. He will be back for those games most likely, so that's good for them. Another great thing for the Seahawks in this Earl Thomas injury, they have their bye week at Week 9 during this Thomas injury, so that will be 1 week that they won't have to play the game while he's recovering.
Wait, so you're telling me that they don't play between now and Week 12 or 13, depending on if he gets cleared early, they don't play the Rams or the Niners, and they have all 4 of those, 2-2 obviously, so 4 games, those are going to be the back end of their schedule?
If he comes, he would have to come back Week 12 to play the Rams, but then Week 14 against the Niners, 15 against the Rams, 16 against the Niners. That is how that schedule ends up for the Seahawks.
So that's favorable. That's favorable for the Seattle Seahawks.
Absolutely. That puts their big division games at the back end of the schedule with that bye week without Thomas. That is very good news for the Seattle Seahawks.
I still got the Los Angeles Rams taking the division this year. I think Jay Moon's due. He has previous Super Bowl history in the Madden Bomber League, but I kind of like this. I mean, Thomas is going to be out. They're going to get healthy. Maybe establish some younger players. Player loves to move in some younger guys and give them the opportunity to shine during the season. And this is their chance to bring in one of those young safeties or someone from the secondary to step up and show that they have some value on the team. So we'll definitely be watching that as we go along. Lipp, your division prediction for the NFC West.
I definitely want to go with the Seahawks as well because the Cardinals have been struggling. And if you look at the Rams, I do believe that Jared Goff has some type of injury. Trying to look through my sources right now to figure out if Jared Goff has an injury.
Yeah, Goff is out. Goff is out, and
Goff
Austin
is out with a
out.
shoulder tear for 3 weeks. So that's going to give the Seahawks a big chance to run up some games on them. Rams are going to fall. Cardinals are falling. I don't think the 49ers are there yet, so I definitely think this is the Seahawks division.
And a dark horse to watch in the future is the San Francisco 49ers, as we know, owner APV. He's really a late bloomer. We know how he develops his teams early in the first 2-3 seasons, then comes back strong in the next 2 to 3 seasons with a nice rookie class, really good at developing players. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this division moving forward. And Earl Thomas, we wish you the best. You are a great leader to your team, and we hope that you come back healthy and strong to allow the Seahawks to make that playoff push towards the end of the season. Are you looking for affordable graphic design? Well, the Madden Bomber League has you covered. Our sponsor at web3ks.com can do anything you want. They always go, Bomber, where'd you get those intros? Web3ks.com. Bomber, where'd you get them graphics? Web3ks.com. So you guys need to check it out. If you run a CFM, if you got a Twitter account, if you got a YouTube account, and you're looking for some nice, clean, affordable graphics, go to web3ks.com and he will fulfill all your graphics needs. How about them Cowboys? That's what everybody in Texas is saying right now. The Cowboys are currently 7-0, coming off a Week 7 victory against the Niners, 20-9. And in Week 5, they decided to bench Tony Romo, and they started Dak Prescott. Huge news. Let's look at the Dallas Cowboys and see what they've been doing this year. Offensive yards 7th, rushing yards 2nd. Red zone scoring 11th, first downs 10th, points per game 9th. You can see yada yada all on the screen right there. Points allowed, they're first. Their defensive interceptions is first. Turnover differential is first. So, I mean, you're looking at this team and they got this young defensive core and they're sitting there just dominating on the defensive end. And it's mainly, I think, because the offense is running so well. But what just happened at the end of Week 7 game versus the Niners is Tony Romo went into a press conference and addressed, finally, the fact that he was benched in Week 5 for Dak Prescott, and he seems to be on board with this. So let's take a look at a couple comments of what he said after the game.
I'm not going to allow this situation to negatively affect Dak or this football team by becoming a constant distraction. I think Dak knows that I have his back, and I think I know that he has mine. Ultimately, it's about the team. It's what we've preached our entire lives. I can remember when I was a kid just starting out and wanting to be a part of something bigger than myself. For every high school kid out there or college player, there's greatness in being the kind of teammate who truly wants to be part of a team. Everyone wants to be the reason they're winning or losing. Every single one of us wants to be that person.
Wow, so a lot of things we can take away from the statements of Tony Romo. Definitely a professional statement, but do I believe that he's okay with this? Obviously not. But the way these Cowboys have been playing, it is not really much more, you could really say if you're Tony Romo right now. So Dak Prescott is leading this team, Lipp, and the Cowboys are just rolling. They're 7-0. He came in Week 5. He played a couple snaps prior to that, and we noticed him coming in like Week 2, Week 3. He played a couple snaps, and then they take him out. They play him for a quick 2 or 3 plays once they would get in the red zone, and they were definitely utilizing him. And it was something to talk about that maybe we missed at the beginning, and now it's evolved into Tony Romo's on the bench.
Yeah, and that even goes back to last year. You see Dak Prescott coming in, running a couple plays. What they did with him was not throw him in from day one. They let Tony lead the way last year, and Dak come in whenever it was needed, let him learn slowly, and now you can see the success that they're having due to them being patient with their young guy. Yeah,
I mean, But let's go back. Hold on. Let's take it back a little bit. Obviously, that's where we're at. Do we even believe what Tony Romo just said right now? I mean, I'm listening to this clip, and I'm just like, I feel like he's gritting his teeth while he's saying it.
Yeah, you can just see it. You can see that the guy wants to so badly be out there, but you have to applaud the fact that he is willing to get up and say, hey, it's okay. This is how it's going to be, and I'm on board. You got to applaud the guy for that.
All right, and before we go on to the Tony Romo free agency scenarios of next year if the Cowboys cut him, which is completely premature, by the way, which I want to talk about, though, Lipp. I want to first talk about who do they got coming up. They got an NBL Live game versus the Chargers, who have been playing phenomenal. DK's Chargers in Week 9, I believe. So who else do they got coming up on their schedule, Lipp, that really could possibly give the Cowboys some problems? As right now they've been 7-0, just been dominating on the offensive side, and the defense has just been playing just out of this world.
Well, next week they will head into their bye week, which is needed to get this young quarterback ready for some of the games coming up. Week 9, as you mentioned, they're going to come back. They're going to face the Chargers. That's going to be a tough game for them. But then after that, Week 10, they're going to face the Lions, and both of these games are on the road, so they're going to go at Chargers, at Lions, and you know that could be a look into the future for playoffs there against the Lions, so they want to play well. Then they're going to go on a crazy division stretch, 11, 12, 13, 14. They're going to go Redskins, Eagles, Redskins, Giants, and that's going to finish out their division play. They're gonna play against the Raiders, who made it to the AFC Championship last year. They're gonna play the Cardinals, and then another tough game to finish out the season versus Falcons. That's a tough schedule because there's so many good teams. There's so many playoff teams with the Chargers, Lions, Falcons, Raiders, and then there's all those division games right there in the middle that are very important. So it's going to be an interesting stretch coming down here, seeing how Dak does with all these tough games coming up.
Okay, and this is going to go back to my theory, and this is our main storyline for today. So this segment's going to be slightly longer, guys. Week 5, they threw in Dak for the main reason that they knew this fire was coming after the bye week. San Diego, Detroit, Redskins, Eagles, Redskins, Giants, Falcons at the very end. And then you throw the Raiders in there, who could possibly get their stuff together by that point of the season. So they had to give him a couple games to walk into it with the Niners and see, get his feet under him and get him ready to go, because this down the stretch is tough, man. This down the stretch is built for a guy like Tony Romo, and they're playing Dak Prescott. So this could end up saying, hey, man, this guy's the future and the franchise quarterback, or this could end up really badly for DK and the Dallas Cowboys, because the Giants, the sleeper team right there, I have them marked. They beat them last year to open the season up. And Dallas lost maybe one game after that, or I can't remember if they lost 1 or 2 games last year, but that was the game they lost. And the Giants, all business, plays him so tough, And then you look at the Redskins, much improved owner, much improved team. The Eagles have such a great defense. It's really going to put a lot of pressure on Dak to put up points. And then San Diego, Detroit, obviously the pedigrees are there. And then they finish with the Falcons, who are a known winner in the NBL. So, Lipp, my question back to you is, how is Dak going to fare towards this last little stretch, these final, 9 games or so? Where's he going to rate as you as far as quarterback? Is he going to be a top 10 in the NBL? Is he going to be top 15 in these last 8-9 games?
Well, I think he'll be somewhere below 15, but above 20. He'll be in that middle range just because the Cowboys don't rely on throwing the ball that much. They've got that great offensive line. Yeah. They've got Ezekiel Elliott. They don't. The quarterback, it is important, but it does not completely make or break this team. Dak's got a whole lot of room for error with them relying so much on the run game, and it also seems that they have a very talented defense. So
a talented and young defense with injuries to cornerback. Lipp, looking at the sheet, that they had a cornerback go out earlier. I believe it was Gandrick or Brandon Carr is out, and they're playing 2 rookies on the outside right now who are just completely dominating in the NBL right now, as this team's not giving up many points at all.
Yeah, that defense is really allowing the offense to play whatever kind of football they want. If they want to come out and they want to slow it down, run the ball, give Dak, safe looks, they can do anything they want with the way the defense is playing. And when you run the ball well, you can do things like that. So I think even though it's a tough schedule coming down the stretch here, it is good for Dak that he's got such a good cast around him. But
yeah,
there's a lot of things going for him.
And let's end this with a little bit of a possibility scenario. If Tony Romo gets released in the offseason, they go with Dak. Possible destinations for Tony Romo, real quick. Let's go about a minute. Where you think top 5 destinations for Tony Romo?
My number 1 place, I think that the Jets could be a place. They have a good team. They made the playoffs last year, could be ready to win. Another one, the second most interesting place that I think he could land is the Browns, because that they elected not to go with a quarterback in the draft last year. They're building their defense.
A really good defense too. Definitely playing up to the progression and the not the progression, but definitely playing up to the way that the owner Fry wanted it to. So his vision is starting to be implemented on the field, and you're seeing the difference in that team, and it's almost like they're putting the pieces in place where throwing a Tony Romo in there could make for like a last miracle run for the old veteran.
Yeah, that definitely is the place that I would like to see him go, just because I think that the way, like you talked about Fry's vision, it is really coming together. I think Tony Romo, how crazy would that be if Tony Romo was the capping piece, the final piece of that puzzle for them to have success. But other than that, I think maybe at a long shot he could go to the Cardinals if Carson Palmer retires, something there.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that too. That's funny that I was thinking, Bob really could. Palmer's been hit with those injuries. Palmer, I've heard rumors, and we'll talk about this next show, about a possible retirement of Carson Palmer and a couple other veteran quarterbacks. Romo is definitely not one by that video that we just saw. He's gritting his teeth. He's still got juice left in those tires. And I expect him, and Cardinals would be a great fit for him, man, just because they want to vertically throw the ball. And he's a quarterback that can vertically throw the ball and more than capable and proven and had success in the NBL in history. He just took the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. So that would be an obvious choice for me as far as a destination for them to go. Other places I'm looking, I think Jacksonville Jaguars as a sleeper. I think they're a little upset with the way Bortles has played, and they're struggling getting to a contract, which you'll find out in building the franchise with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That Bortles they haven't been able to re-sign him. He's looking like he's going to hit free agency, and from what I've heard, they're not talking until the season's over. So this is really building up into this young quarterback testing free agency, and I mean that could open up a spot in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and look at you, Tony Romo, walking into a team like the Jaguars or the Cardinals, playoff team, ready to go, and they need a quarterback. A, you're going to get paid whatever you want, and B, you got a really good chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's a crazy opportunity for Tony Romo.
They have a chance to make it. They have a chance to compete and contend, and I think that's what he's definitely looking for. So those will be our teams where we think. Let us know what you guys think. Thanks for checking out episode number 8, and let us know what you think about the new features that we added to the show. For Bomber and for Lipp, my co-host, we want to say thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the NBL Network, and follow us on Twitter at Bomber League. And have a good day.